is Glenn Filbin. I used to work for a university administration and I'm HIV positive. I grew up in the western suburbs of Melbourne to a normal Caucasian family. I had a very healthy childhood, and it wasn't until I went to university and started to train as a teacher that I started to realise that I was a homosexual. I was a latent starter. And I became HIV positive in December of 1991 in an unguarded moment. Well, I was never a big drinker. I used to only drink to get drunk for the effect. And I went out to a gay bar one night in December 1991 and I had several scotch and whiskies in rapid succession, and then I had a classic blackout situation. I went home with a man. I woke up the next morning in a stranger's bed, and I know at that point in time is when I became HIV positive. My HIV diagnosis has given me a message in that if it's not on, it's not on. It's a very much bandied around term, but basically if condom use isn't employed, then you're only opening yourself up to a whole possibility of Pandora's box of illnesses, HIV notwithstanding one of those things. So if I could say anything to anybody out there, if you're going to have a healthy sex life, employ condoms. It's as simple as that. It was a bitter pill to swallow because from the word go in the 1980s, I wasn't going to get this virus. It wasn't going to happen to me, but never say never. So really, I can only speak for myself when I say that I feel better about myself now being diagnosed 12 years ago. Time's a great healer. I experience minor physical disabilities, but compared to a lot of other people, I'm very fortunate and very lucky to still be here and living my life as I do. My whole sense of freedom and independence had been sorely undermined when I became HIV positive. I had a very successful job. I lived in a groovy flat in St Kilda. I had a lifestyle which I was quite accustomed to, money notwithstanding, and then suddenly being told I was HIV positive meant that I had to go on a disability pension, living in an HIV rental assisted flat, and felt unhealthy and sicker than I'd ever done in my life. Glenn Filbin now is a much different person. I feel a lot more energised about my life. I don't feel so negative anymore as I did for years, because I was clinically depressed for several years after diagnosis. But time is a great healer. It's 12 years ago when I was diagnosed HIV positive, and in that 12 years I think I'd like to think that I've moved on and accepted my status, because I was very much in denial of the whole HIV thing prior to becoming HIV positive. Being a People Living with HIV/AIDS Speakers Bureau speaker has given me a voice. I can take my experiences out to the wider community, generally to high school groups, community groups, business organisations, and talk about my experiences, my personal experiences living with the virus. Basically, the knowledge that I can share with people is that if it can happen to me as an HIV positive man, it could happen to anybody. HIV is not exclusive. It doesn't target homosexuals, heterosexuals, drug users. It's just not that kind of thing. And I feel that if I can talk to one person, if I can make one person stop and think about what they're doing, if I can change their life, then it's well worth it.